Welcome back, everybody. In the last video, I've shown you how to install a lightweight Kubernetes cluster, K3d, locally on your machine and then install Keptn into it. Or actually, what we did is we installed Keptn control plane into it. And in this video, we're gonna make use of this to do some development using Keptn, or actually developing Keptn. For this, you will need an IDE of your choice. I often use JetBrains Golang, but you can as well just use Visual Studio Code. And for the purpose of this video, I will keep using Visual Studio Code. In addition to that, you should also have Scaffold installed. I will quickly show you how to do that. I think it's scaffold.dev. Yeah. There's like get scaffold CLI, and you can see there is some commands how to download it, and I will just do that in my terminal. Okay, it wants my password, should be fine. And now I should have Scaffold installed. Version 1.35.2 is here. Okay, nice. Good. Next thing, you want to verify that you are connected to your Keptn cluster and that it's up and running using Keptn status. As we're connected to our local K3d, it's printing it here, and also it's printing the IP address of our local cluster, so everything seems to be working fine. Next step, what you really want is you want to clone the Keptn repository. So you're gonna go to github.com/keptn/keptn, and depending on what you do, you should either fork it directly, which is on the top right corner. You can't see it because my video is hovering over here. Actually, quickly going to hide it. There is fork. Or, yeah, you know what? We can actually do that. Let's fork it. I want to fork it into my GitHub repo here, and then you click on code and you want to clone the repository. Now I usually clone it using SSH. You can also clone it using HTTPS. Just use whatever you usually do. And yeah, so we're just gonna say git clone, copy paste this URL. As I'm using SSH and my keys are already in there, it will automatically authenticate. It might ask you for your credentials if you do that. So yeah. As you can see, cloning will take quite some time and you need a good internet connection because the repository is rather big, but that's okay. All right, and now we can change directory into the Keptn folder, and you just get the whole thing like the same on the repo here. And if you want to develop, what you do is you don't want to develop like straight away from the Keptn folder here. You want to go into a separate folder. So for instance, let's say you want to fix a bug in Lighthouse service, or I don't know, let's use something different, something simpler. You want to fix a bug in approval service, or you implement a feature in approval service, and what you want to do is you want to open your IDE in that folder. So this is really a mono repo, and you should open the IDE in the folder that you're at. And we're using Visual Studio Code, which you can install various ways. Just Google it, install VS Code, and you should see like code.visualstudio.com.download, and it will give you separate download options. I'll put the link to that in the video description below. And yeah, I'm just opening it using Visual Studio Code. Spoiler alert, I do have some plugins already installed. Oh yeah, it's asking you if you want to trust the authors because of, yeah, there could be some malicious code in there. Yeah, I recommend trusting it in this case. Yeah, I'm using some pre-installed plugins. Basically, whenever you open a source code file, it will suggest to you, hey, there is a plugin for Go, you should install it. Or hey, there is a plugin for Dockerfile, you should install it. Now, what I want to do is I want to change something in main.go, and let's just say, where is it? somewhere the main function so we can actually see it. There we go, that's the main function. What I want to do is here, I want to say format.printf hello Keptn community. And apparently format is not imported here. And yeah, as you can see, it is suggesting us to do something. So yeah, it will auto import it. So Visual Studio Code with the proper plugins does it for you. And how do we actually deploy this change now to our Kubernetes cluster where Keptn is running? So if we look at this cluster in namespace Keptn, we will see that there is a pod approval service somewhere. Yeah, here we go, there it is. And it has been running for 20 minutes. And this is the pod that we want to replace essentially. And what you could do now is you could build this Docker file and deploy it to some registry and then hope that everything works. But I think this is not needed. You could just use Scaffold. And what Scaffold is doing is it will build the Docker file that is linked here, and it will deploy it using kubectl by deploying the manifest in the deploy directory service YAML. And granted, this method might change, but for now, sometimes you have to adapt certain things in this manifest, like the resource requests or the Keptn distributor version. As you can see, this is like a really old distributor here, so this should really be Keptn 0.12.2 for what we do, and it should also come from the Keptn image here. Yeah, like you will have to adapt some things sometimes. Please ask for help in the Slack channel if you need help. But other than that, you should be able to just go into your terminal and specify scaffold run. And what I suggest is use --tail so you get the log output. We will see if this actually works. I haven't tested this, so this is basically a live demo. And what it starts doing is it starts building the Docker file. I mean, this should work because this is working every day in the background anyway. I'm gonna pause the video quickly until the Docker file has been built. Alright, the Docker file has been built. We can see it here. This is the last command in production. It's writing that into a Docker image, and it will now try to deploy it to our cluster. I was just gonna say we can watch it live, but there is no need to watch it live because it seems it has worked. The distributor is already up and running. What we now need is the approval service image that we've built to be up and running. Because what I want is I want to see our Hello Keptn community message. So let's quickly investigate. Did the approval service pod change? Approval service. Yeah, so it says running 2 of 2. What we can do now is we can see what kind of images are running. So let's do -namespace Keptn get deployments. The deployment in this case is just called approval service. And we actually want to see the images. This is gonna be done by setting the output type to white. And we can see it is using Keptn Dev approval service and some random string. This is like a hash created by Scaffold. But I'm not seeing the log output in here. This worries me a little bit. So one thing we can do now is to say logs of approval service. And we need to specify. We could do -- all containers. And no, I'm not seeing my log output. Let me pause the video for troubleshooting quickly. And we're back. I don't know what it was. I just canceled the current run and ran it again, and now I'm getting the output. So For whatever reason, something wasn't working, but it's working now. So yeah, that is how I just deployed a container here, and that should be working for you as well. So there is some pitfalls with this method using Scaffold, because there is a Helm chart in the background that we're overriding now. And what will happen when we stop Scaffold here using Control C is usually that we will lose the, or we might, we actually will not lose it now. It will stay because we didn't say it to clean up, but Scaffold can be configured to clean up afterwards. So yeah, but it's okay. It has worked so far. So what you would do now is you could create, or you could push your change into your Git repo and then make a pull request. And yeah, some people will review it and give you comments about it. And yeah, this is how you would develop. But what if you don't want to actually develop a Keptn core service? What if what you want to develop is an additional service? Let's say you want to create an integration that interacts with Terraform, or that interacts with Prometheus or anything else. Then this is the wrong service for you to look at. What you would have to look at then is Keptn's job executor service. This can also be found on GitHub. I will put a link onto it into the video description below. But this is the job executor service, and job executor service allows you to just create customizable tasks with Keptn as Kubernetes jobs by specifying, let me see if there's a config file. There we go. By specifying an event that you want to listen at, and when this event is received, you want this job to run a Docker container, in this case Alpine, and in this container run a command, in this case echo hello world. However, this is a topic for another video, so stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. I will create a video about job executor soon, and then I will also show you how to develop something for job executor. Alright, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Other than that, I'm also inviting you to the Keptn Slack. I will also put a link to that in the video description below, so you can ask questions there and get immediate feedback. And yeah, see you until the next time. Bye bye.